it down and build again. Yeah, every time we try to make up for something lost, we're never letting go. This time we can reach the sky on a prayer. We go higher than high. Yeah, wide awake, it's a big mistake, 'cause it's something we can deny. But with a love like this, we'll never fall. All of a sudden
Evening, everyone. Welcome to Hollis-tics. I am your host, Hollis Mahady. If you're joining me this evening from wherever you may be, and maybe you are just listening right now, maybe you're driving home from your way home from work and you are tuning in and you happen to hear this and you're listening. Well, hello. And I am very excited to be here on this Thursday evening. Today is March 26th. I have to check the calendar. Sometimes it slips my mind. I just heard a little bit of thunder out there today. So it was a warm day actually here in Cleveland, very warm. And I think it was like 70 degrees and it's supposed to be 30 something tomorrow. So, like I said a couple weeks ago, I put away all my winter clothes, hoping spring was coming early, but you go back and forth. But I think there was actually a tornado warning. Wow. So that's scary. I've never been in a tornado. We could get into all those events. So much to get into tonight. It's very exciting, but if you are a first time here, if you're scrolling by, stop the scroll. That's why I wore stripes, because maybe they will stop the scroll. It's hypnotized. That thing goes around, stop the scroll. Here you are in Hollis-tics. And tonight is episode 11. We are still in the now we're in the double digits. And I guess we'll be in the double digits, double digits until we hit triple digits. We got a ways to go for that. That's a lot of shows later. That's a lot of outfits later. When I have a whole closet full of clothes, like probably most women do. And I was thinking about that today. It's so funny. I'm like, I have nothing to wear. You know how girls are. They have the whole closet, but they're just like, because some of the clothes you're sick of. You're like, I always wear that. I've had that for a long time. So getting into that, I said, I'm back on air. I have a show, and maybe I need to spice up my wardrobe a bit and get a few new things. Maybe I have to revisit Timu. I I had that app on the phone for so long, and then you just get all these, the games, and it's like you won $100 worth of free stuff. We'll get into all that, but first, I like to put a flow in the show as I go. Here, the beginning, we're going to get our housekeeping in order, and that's the ritual. First, before we do anything like that, because you're here right now, and maybe you're watching this and you're tuned in, I want to say, in case no one's told you today, you're doing a good job. You're doing great. Whatever you're working on, don't give up. And if you got through the day today, if it was a hard day, hopefully you had a great day. But if it was a hard day, sometimes we just need to be reminded. And if nothing else, I'm here showing up consistently for the people who are showing up for me, who are tuning into that chat room, who are stopping by. Maybe they saw a Facebook invite and they're like, well, I'll go see Hollis. I haven't seen her in like 20 years or 10 years or whatever it is. I'm here to say, give you a little round of applause. I like to start with the positivity on the show. God knows this world, we need it sometimes. So with that said, this one's for all of you guys out there. It was kind of a short one. We need a little bit more than that. One more. That one was longer. Good, good. So with the housekeeping in order, I decided, I did my episode, I think it was episode 8. That one's kind of lost in the abyss somewhere. I didn't upload it to YouTube because, as I said on the other show, when I watched it back, it was all blurry. And that was the episode I was wearing my glasses. So I said, well, we do the housekeeping and we're getting in order. And I'm telling you where everything is in case you're unfamiliar with the setup here at Hollis-tics and what the QR code is and what those things on the side are. So I like to put my glasses on just for this part as we do our ritual, because we're getting into routines here, right? This is how the show goes. You do the applause, you say hello, you greet everyone, you thank them for stopping by, and did you guys hear the thunder? Maybe you don't hear it, but you encourage them to stick around to the end, to come here. We have a lot of great things in store for tonight. We have the chat room. I see a couple comments in there. I'll get to the chat room shortly, but with our housekeeping, right up to the left or the right. I think I have to point this way. I'm trying to point to that QR code. There it is. That thing right there. That QR code. I do take tips on the show. If you want to support the show, it always helps. If you're a fan and you're listening and you're liking it, you drop a tip in the tip jar. I used to have a little automated tip jar on there. We won't talk about that right now. When the coins dropped in, they said that was for the longtime listeners of, 10 shows again when I was doing my dating. But I've met someone and I'm sticking with them for a while until I get bored with them. No, it's StreamYard. So that's what I'm using tonight. And that's the studio I'm in. I am self produced. I'm my own board operator. I'm my own editor. I'm my own, I pretty much own everything. And that's why I'm here to tell you. Sometimes if you can't always wait for everyone else. There's not always a team and there's not a whole lots of people doing everything. So sometimes you just got to go and do it yourself. That's why I'm very honest. Sometimes, it doesn't go as smoothly as I had hoped for, but that's okay. That's okay because we're doing it no matter what. So the QR code up there, reason I say we take tips, I'm fully independent, not backed by anyone, and it costs money to do all this stuff, to stream and all that. Everybody and their brother and their mother are asking you for money. So why would you give me money? You don't even know me. I'm a stranger online. I'm asking you for money. But that's how uh, we support the show. And I always use the analogy here, or not the analogy, the example that I was a bartender for many years and a server. And a bartending was the best example because I poured a drink, I poured a beer every time. People were always very generous. It was like the courtesy, the nice thing to do. They gave me $1 every time I poured a drink. And I like to remind that here I'm pouring my soul into these videos and these creations. And so if you're feeling generous, you can go to hollismahady.com. If you're on your mobile phone, right in the corner, you'll see a little coffee cup. You just click on that and you can do a one-time donation to the show, or you can sign up for a membership. So, as I said, we're doing our housekeeping. I will actually show you a really quick way to support the show in case you're interested, or in case you're just like, let's talk about something else, but we have to get this out of the way. And then the glasses will come off and we will get into the show we have planned. I'm excited about it. If I could find the images. Where are they? Let's see. There's the videos. And I have images somewhere. I think it might be. Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. Real quick, really quickly, because I only do this once a show in the beginning. This is how you can support the show. Lots of stuff. I am a musician. My name is Hollis Mahady. That's my website up there. It's hollismahady.com. And I do sell a few things in case you're interested, in case you need some new music. We got the Love Zombies albums and over 30 songs. That's on sale in one place for $20. I'm also selling my lyric sheets. And if you do drop a tip in the tip jar, you will automatically be entered to win one of those. I just gave one away last night to the winner, Joe. He has donated a few times. He bought me many coffees, and every time he did that, his name was dropped into my little sound bowl. And last night we pulled a winner, and he was the winner. So anytime you drop a donation in there, you will be entered to a chance to win a hand painted and signed lyric sheet from my new album. I also have, this is all stuff you could go up on Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com /Hollis Mahady. And if you want to sign up, you could become a member. You could become a soul supporter for $2 a month, or join the Freedom Circle. And all of them come with nice little perks, a backstage pass. You get lots of extras, an extra podcast I'm doing weekly just for those people who got the pass. So all that good stuff, guys, right? I don't currently have advertisers or sponsors, but we are going to get that because we are manifesting that. But we are co-creating, I say co-creating with God, because, money, they say teamwork makes the dream work, and money helps as a resource to get things moving just a little bit faster. So we're going to get rid of that, back to that. I think I covered everything there. Okay. And I want to say a big thank you to Joe out there. I saw your Buy Me a Coffee today. So thank you so very much. You are in the new Sound Bowl, and your name is entered again. So you already won the lyric painting. You might win just another one. But these are collector's items, guys. These are very important. One day, look back and be like, remember that girl? She was on episode 11 and she didn't have a soundboard operator. Now she has like 5 of them. See? So we're co-creating together, and you're on this journey with me. It's all about showing the journey and sharing the journey, because it's not fun doing just alone. So now that my housekeeping's done, I'll take off the glasses. And yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun to do it alone. That's why I love having the chat. And I see some comments in there. And we are broadcasting hopefully on Facebook. We should be on the YouTube, on Instagram, on Rumble, where we got the Rumble chat room. And if you're chatting on Facebook or anything, I should be able to see that. So I know a lot of people watch and they don't want to comment, but active is attractive. Get it. Go ahead, drop a comment because it's always nice when there's comments because it help the conversation goes in a different direction because I like sometimes someone will say a random comment and then we're like off on that subject and then we just that's where it goes. So I don't plan what I say. I have a little, just some ideas in the morning. Oh, maybe we could talk about that. Like yesterday, Mark Whittier, when I played his video up there, that just popped up on my feed yesterday, and I thought about him and Shadow Dance, my song and everything, and it led to a great episode. I watched it back and it was not blurry, not all of it, but I watched some of it back because I had to cut the clips and everything. And for those who were here last night and got to hear some of Mark Whittier's beautiful violin playing, he has agreed to come on the show. I thought he would. I thought he would, but just assume can't be presumptuous because he's busy. He's a rock star. And so I'm excited because we are can't believe tomorrow's Friday already. Where's the time go? But tomorrow's Friday, and I've gotten through almost my second full week of doing this show. So persistence, persistence, persistence. I always say I'm just a voice here for people who want to come in and connect. I talk a lot about AI here. And on the first couple episodes, we were really digging into that, how, we're living through a crazy time. AI is here. It's not going anywhere. What was that robot's name that it was yesterday at the White House, or I forget his name, but we'll talk more about him maybe in another episode. But we're living through a crazy time, right? AI is here and we're automation and all these things we're having to do. And I talk about it a lot with music, but I said I think it's very important, to keep some of that humanity, which we are, a lot of people are, but I fear that as it becomes so just regular, oh, just use AI for that, just use that for chat, just use Chat GPT. Oh, you don't have to think. I think it's important to also put your soul and heart into things and your own mind and creativity and thoughts. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to just, connect with those other people who might sometimes just feel a little overwhelmed in this world of technology. We're always plugged in. So it's time here we can decompress. And I say, I come on at 7 at night and most people, not most, because people have different jobs at different hours and stuff, of course, bartenders, waitresses, doctors and stuff. But if you're on more of a normal schedule and this is time usually when work is over. And sometimes you just want to, I call the work and all that, the 3D world and the matrix, and you just have to do all that stuff. But then I say, sometimes we address the fun stuff in life, like things like the magical, mystical part of life. And that's what I do. You're here for Hollis-tics. Let's just take a break from it for a couple hours. And I would love if you stayed the whole time, but I tend to talk and talk and I go on quite a bit. So even if you're here for a little while, thank you for popping in and I hope you stay. So with that said, I'm going to head over to the chat room and see who's in here. I see 5 eyeballs up there. So those 5 eyeballs, remember, like and smash that thumbs up button if you don't mind, or give me a follow on the YouTube. I got a couple new subscribers. So thank you, anybody who recently subscribed. I make it a point to go in there and try to upload all these videos. And even though I see they get like 10 views, but for those 10 people, thank you for watching. Everybody matters. And I'm always about quality over quantity. We're not competing against the algorithm, okay? So let's go into the chat room and say hi to everybody. All right. Big shout out. We got Joe in the chat room. Joe's at work. Good evening, Alice. I'm at work, of course, but I could still throw in a chat line and listen to the entire show. Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here. And I want to say thank you again so much for the coffee today. I did have a coffee today, but right now, tonight, I'm actually just drinking some water, keeping it simple. And I have, of course, a nice glass here. And you probably can't see that, but it has my, what's it called? My horoscope sign. I'm a Leo. What is everyone else? What are your signs? I'm a Leo. I'm a lion. This is probably my affinity and my natural drawn always towards cats. I love cats, as we've talked about a lot on this show already. Dogs too, but I'm a lion, and I like to have the mane, and my hair's messy sometimes, so it's like the lion's mane. And that's actually that's a herb, or that's a What is that? That's something you take as well. It's supposed to be really good for you. I don't know if it's a sounds a mushroom, but it's in a lot of these health food, the lion's mane, and I heard that's very good for you. I have had it before. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay. I will not be able to appear on Politishock tonight. Aw, but I'll be home at midnight. I'll be able to. I think Dan. I told Dan about that. Yes, to not, of course, to. I can't believe I forgot this. We are on VOPUSARadio.com, of course. We are on the Roku TV, we are on the Fire TV, and we are on the Apple TV and the Android TV. And we have an app, VOPUSA Radio. It's on an app store. So you can watch Holistics right on your phone, on your app there. Maybe you're already watching it on your phone. But if you're not, we got the apps, and Holistics is there every night that I'm on, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So you could go to VOPUSARadio.com. There's some other shows on there. We got Politishock coming up on the network tonight at 9 o'clock. So I will be ending this because you know me, guys. I talk a lot. I didn't realize how fast the time went. So I will not be a 3 hour tonight, but we'll be wrapping it up around 8:45 and letting Dan come in and set up his show for Politishock, which is a whole different kind of show. But if you know, you know, and check it out. So up here we got Mac Institute in the house. Holy moly. Woo! Okay, that deserves a round of applause. I hope that's true. Let's see. We're gonna give him. He just says, "Holy moly! I just turned 1K into 63K." I hope he's for reals. Okay, if that's true, I'm expecting a few coffees. Uh, well, I don't expect anything. You don't owe me anything, but I'll upgrade and I'll get maybe we could get a dinner as well. Okay, maybe just to buy me a coffee. Maybe you'll buy me a new streaming platform. That would be nice. Um, so a big applause for that. We're having abundance in our life here. You know what they say, just think positively and abundantly and it will come. Don't have a fear around money or a lack or all that stuff. Money's a big one. That's a whole other episode. I have a book. It's called Think and Grow Rich. Still working on that. Maybe I got to read it again. But there's a whole thing about that energy and money and lack and abundance and why some things flow and why some people don't have any issues with money and why some people are always broke. Like there's this whole, trust me, that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of people, when you look online, the videos with like millions of views, it's like, how do not live in lack and how to manifest money and how does abundance come? Abundance is a big one. Everybody knows that word in the spiritual world, abundance, but we want to have abundance in life and all that stuff. So if that's true, I really hope it is for your sake. Congratulations. So let's go back into the comments. And Jim Sim is also in the house and he asked, did you eat good today? I did. You know what I had today? Good, good. Okay. You know what I had today? And I've been meaning to talk about it. I mean, we like to talk about food sometimes. Food is a great subject. You could just go on and on and on. We did for the one night. We talked a lot about food and recipes and crock pots and all that stuff. And that episode was blurry. But when I went to Trader Joe's, I saw something that I have never seen before. I mean, I've seen them before, but I haven't had them since the good old days of the UK, England. It's called a crumpet. And a crumpet is similar, I guess you would compare it to an English muffin, but it's different. It's really good. And I used to eat them in the UK and you would put butter on them or you could put peanut butter or I forget. But they were so good. And I couldn't believe we went to Trader Joe's last Saturday, as I talked about on Monday. Um, and we stocked up on some stuff and I saw the crumpets. I was like, oh wow, I haven't had those in so long. And I said, Dan, you got to try these. I think you'll like them. So basically they're just kind of like, I think they're better than English muffins. English muffins I haven't had in a long time. I try not to eat too much bread, but I like the Ezekiel bread. We got that as well. I do love bread. And I will say it, my favorite bread ever is Dave's Killer Bread. Has anyone ever had that? It's so good. It's very thick and you get the most of your slice. Yes, I love Dave's Killer Bread. And if anyone's had, maybe it's because there's a guy on the front of it with a guitar, and I think that's what attracted to me to it because it's all about the marketing. How are you going to stand out? It's just like, right, like this show, right, or YouTube or TikTok. How are you going to stand out in a sea of all different kind of breads? Or how are you going to stand out in a sea of 8 million influencers and all these people? It's all about the marketing. So on the bread, which you don't see every day, I mean, on YouTube and TikTok, you see a lot of people with guitars, but you don't usually see that on bread. So I think that's what initially drew me to it, and that's why I bought it. And I said, I like music. I must get this bread because the guy has a guitar on the bread. So, but it's delicious. It's very thick and yummy, 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 yummy. Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy and dun 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 doo 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 doo. You know that song? Dun 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 dun. My mom always used to play that song. I like that song. Again, if I had my board opera, I'd say, play that. Cue it up, baby. Let's do it here on Holistics when we forget about the Matrix and we just sing old songs and we have fun. There it is. But yes, Dave's Killer's bread. And we got Jason in the house. Pumpernickel, that's what Jim likes. Jim likes pumpernickel is the best bread. You know, I don't have that one that much. I mean, I have had it. Rye bread once in a while. I mean, I don't really eat that much. You could have that on a kind of a sandwich, like at the deli I used to work at was like rye. But yeah. So Jason is in the house. Welcome, Jason. Thank you for stopping in. It's so good to see you. And tonight's a good night. It's Thursday night. And what was I going to say? Crumpets. Okay, we're off that subject. Are we off that subject? Anyone had a crumpet before? I know a lot of people in the UK like their crumpets because they're easily available, accessible. It's a part of daily life. But here in the US, we don't have crumpets. We have crimpets, but crimpets are nothing like crumpets. Crimpets are like tasty cakes. You guys know what a crimpet is? Anyone ever had a crimpet? I think tasty cakes are more of a Pennsylvania thing. I don't know if they're everywhere. I think they're a Pennsylvania company, but they're a brand. But they have these, the little cakes with the icing. But they're crimpets. Crumpets, I suggest them. They're pretty good. So if you have a Trader Joe's, if you're lucky enough to have a Trader Joe's, pick up some crumpets. I don't know if they're always there at limited time. It's the first time I've ever seen them. All right. So getting into the meat and potatoes, something that was yesterday I brought up, and I was wishing I had a board operator. Hey, there's Ben. Hold on. We got Ben in the chat room. Ben, nice to see you. He says, as a fat guy, it's got to be fry bread with powdered sugar and the best ever. Fry bread I've never had. It's that like a funnel cake kind of thing? Funnel cake, maybe? We might call it something different. But we talk about food too early here, too much, then we get hungry. But, so Ben's in the chat room, everyone. Welcome, Ben. I like to connect everyone here because you guys are chatting. We have Timothy and Jason and Ben and Jim. And we also have Joe, but Joe is driving, so he's not typing right now. Yes. Okay. Well, it's so great to see you. And we were just talking about, as you said, as I was saying, crumpets. Crumpets are a nice thing. You could put any kind of topping on it. Oh, but I was saying, so last night I started talking about the hero's journey. And I was like, I got to pull up the diagram because when you talk about certain things, I mean, they're in my head, but I don't like to put out wrong information or say something. And it's like, oh, that wasn't right. I said something about Joseph Campbell. I said Star Wars. So there is a connection. We're going to talk about that. But before we go on about correcting yourself, in a few episodes ago, I can't say exactly which one it was, I made a wrong comment because I looked it up after because I was curious, I was talking about the functions of the body, and we were talking about the episode where I was saying, thank you, God, for your heart. Like, you don't think about these things sometimes that your heart never stops beating. Thank God, because we would be gone. I mean, someone actually commented and said, I know someone who lived a minute without, their heart wasn't beating, but they were still alive. Yeah, I think there's a window. It's not going to be long because you hear those stories, of course, too. People come back to life. They almost died, and I guess it's the defibrillators and all that stuff. They can bring them back. So yeah, you can't. So, but what I was going to say, I think I did say you can't live without a spleen and you can't live without a pancreas, but you can live without them. I was saying basically in that episode, like, do we really know the functions of our body because we know more about our cars and our houses than actually what's been with us our whole life and what do these things do? So that was just something I wanted to, in case anyone goes back and watches and says, hey, but I did read you can live without a spleen, you can live without a pancreas. We're going to need a lot of extra like medical help and all that, but you can't live without a liver, obviously, you can't live without a liver, and that was it. I just wanted to clear that up. So, back to the hero's journey. Last night I was talking about it and I didn't have my diagram because I just get frustrated. I'm on this computer and it's like once I'm in here, it's hard to do it because I'm not very familiar with this computer. I am a Mac user. It's just easy for me. And now I have to do my streaming on the PC. So these things are like, oh, where is it? Where is it? So Tom will be joining us eventually whenever he could pop in because then he sits behind the screen. He's at his house, but he's remote and he's in there. And so I say, hey, Tom, can you pull that up? And I'll be able to just be like, Tom, pull it up. And then we can talk about it. It won't be like, let's talk about the hero's journey. Oh, Dad, I need to pull the picture up. So anyway, but I did prepare and was able to get it. So I have it right here because I thought it was kind of cool to talk about it. Just a little bit about not just me, but this is what I was talking about last night about a lot of movies and just life, how you apply it to your life. When I said we're in holistics here, and I go deeper about things and like because it relates to your everyday problems, right? You might be going through it right now. Like we're all on our own journey. We're all the hero in our life, or we're the main character in our life. And as I was mentioning last night, I won't go into too much because you could just go watch the episode last night about shadow dance and everything. But just the journey of life and the arc that we're on. We start from this thing from the beginning destination. We go on this journey, and this is who it shapes who we are. And so I said, we can look at it and just say, where are you in your journey? Are you on the hero's journey? Everyone's on the hero's journey. But I didn't know what this was. A long time ago, I found it, and I just thought it was really cool. So here, I'll pull it up here. Let's see. Oh, good. There it is. All right. So the hero's journey in the 12 phases. And real quick, we'll go into it. But this is what I was saying. I'll go to this one next first. What is the hero's journey? And I knew it had to do something with Star Wars. And Star Wars was directly inspired by Joseph Campbell's work. And what is the hero's journey? Campbell laid it all out in his book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. It's a cycle that goes something like this: the ordinary world, and then you're called to the adventure, refusal of the call, and then meeting the mentor, the trials and challenges that lead to the transformation, and then you return home changed. Remember last night I was saying that's all my whole like the last 10 years or more, or I'll apply it to what happened with me, but you go out and you're like, then you come back, but you're returning home, but home to yourself because you come transformed because all these mistakes and errors and trials and tribulation of life, it transforms you. It transforms you if you look into it and all that. So yeah, Star Wars, I tried to watch it. I just was never into it. And I always would confuse Star Wars and Star Trek because I know there's like the Trekkies and it's a big thing, it's like there's Star Wars and Star Trek and there's Star Trek conventions and all that stuff. And it's a big thing. But honestly, I couldn't get through it. I just remember, a lot of the stuff like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and is it Yodi or Yoda, the little green guy? I think that's Star Wars, right? But if there's anyone Star Wars out there, let me know. I'd try it again. I'd be willing to give it another try. It's just something I just never got into, even though I really like galaxies and talking about this kind of stuff. I just can never watch it. I don't know. So yeah, but it was kind of cool because first we'll go back to this one. But here's the hero's journey, right? And the 12 phases. So the first act, this is what happened to me. And this is you start like you're young or younger or wherever you are, and you're called out to an adventure. Like I was saying in my life, I was like, I always wanted to sing. I was like, I want to go out in the world. I think a lot of people when they're especially in high school, younger kids and everything, your life is just starting and you're in high school and you're home and you maybe some people don't leave, but it still applies even if you don't leave the area or whatever. It's not just about geography. It's about life's events and stuff like that. So you're home. Like I was home in Scranton and my next was like getting called out to the world where I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go away. But actually it was really more after college but it was more about you're in the ordinary world and, kids dream, they wanna get their license, they just wanna go. Me, it was like, I wanted to go out into the world, I wanted to move somewhere else. Not because I didn't love my parents or anything, but you're young, you're like, "Oh, I wanna go there," and you see it on movies, and it's like, "I wanna go to New York, I wanna go to LA, I wanna go to these places and try to make it," and all. It wasn't even try to make it, you just wanna go. So you're in your ordinary world, and then you're called to the adventure. And the adventure is the fun part, right? And then especially when you're a lot younger, it's just everything's new and exciting and whatever city you're in. It is still now, but sometimes if you've been there before, you're like, okay, I did that. Like, something new. It's all new. It's all new. So you're called out to the adventure. I was called to the West Coast. I'm gonna go hit Route 66. And then you're doing your fun and your adventure. And then you meet a mentor. You meet all these people along the way. I met so many people along the way. Some people were my age, but, you meet your mentor, and then refusal of the call. I don't know where that one is. Maybe you are scared to go or you because I skipped that one. Here, I'm going in this order. You're in the ordinary world, then you're called to adventure, then refusal of the call. I don't know if there's that one. Is that like fear and maybe you weren't gonna go and then you went? But meeting the mentor, you meet the characters along the way. I always talk about characters in my comedy of errors. This is all what it's all about because I met many mentors and many people who've influenced me in good ways, a lot of good ways and some bad ways, but you meet the mentor because a lot of you can learn from the people who you think are against you or your enemies or people you don't like. Sometimes they're mentors because you're learning from them. They maybe not be teaching you, but you're learning through yourself or like, okay, I don't want to be like that person. So they're actually mentors. And then you're crossing the threshold, right? And I think you're there, you're in there. Maybe your mentor is there. You meet them at the time where a mentor is like a teacher. They're there for you as you go into this new thing. You're crossing into the threshold. And then the second act is the adventure. Okay. That's why I think my second act, there was many, but maybe going to London and everything and I don't know, California, I guess, but there's your tests, then you find where your friends are, then you find the enemies, and the enemies could be people, they could be your own demons, and like, that's the tests and the allies, and then the trials and the errors, and there's a helper here, and then you're approaching the inner cave. That's where you're taking a look at your inner self, because you're growing and you're especially when you're going through bad times and hard times and you're just you gotta look inside, and then you get to the ordeal, growth and new skills. Okay. Your trials and failures. A lot of failures. Like when I moved home to Scranton, I've talked about this a lot. I'm like, oh man, did I fail? You're going back. And during that time, here's your growth and new skills. And then here's the part. I didn't feel like I've been through all of this here. The death and rebirth, the death of the old, right? It's like you go through the third act says the road back home, but the ordeal, you go through the whole ordeal and then you seize the reward. And is it outer, physical? Maybe it's not outer, but it could be seizing the reward is like finding yourself and all that stuff. So then you're down here, the death and the rebirth, the revelation, the finally changes, the atonement, making up for things. Then you return changed. Oh no. It's pretty interesting. You gotta like there's a lot written about it, but that's kind of what I started with it. And I just wanted to say, I want to talk about it because they said in movies, like for instance, here's a good one. And I quote this sometimes. The Wizard of Oz. It was always with you, dear. But they say that this movie, The Wizard of Oz, they kind of showed how it started, right? The 7 steps of the hero's journey, The Wizard of Oz, based on the work of Joseph Campbell. She's in the ordinary world where we're talking about tornadoes, right? I don't know. Does anyone else hear tornado? And I always think of The Wizard of Oz, but she's in the ordinary world, and then the tornado hits, and she's called to the adventure. And then maybe here, step 3, the refusal of the call. Was she scared? She was scared. I guess so. I guess I don't kind of remember. I mean, she was there, and I guess she's frightened at first, but then she goes to meeting the mentor and gaining allies. She gained the Munchkins. She gained Glenda the Good Witch, and on her journey, she met her allies and her mentor. Her mentor was Glenda, and then her friends and everything. So that's like, yeah. And then she's going down. Then you're crossing the threshold, the point of no return. Okay. See, I think this is so cool, especially like applying it to your own life, applying it to my music and everything. It was kind of like, okay, I met the mentors, the allies, like bandmates. Some were good, some weren't, No offense, but some were good, some were and just other people you're meeting, and then you're doing it for so long, you're at the point of no return. It's like you have to follow through with this. You gotta keep going. You gotta follow through. And then you get to the ordeal, whatever it was. The band breaks up or, someone dies or something. I'm just applying it to my life, but here's the ordeal. Because the ordeal is usually what and the battle ensues. But that's usually what will lead to the transformation if you could get through it. And then you go to the step 7, the return home and the elixir. It's like once you return back to yourself and you have all this knowledge now. It might not be, a physical material reward or money or anything. Because it was me. It was not money. It was just like I changed. And I just feel like I learned so much. And even though so much of this was hard, it was really hard, from losing people to you're disappointed, things didn't work out, enemies, people you stabbed you in the back you didn't think would do that, all that stuff of real life, right? And then you live through it and you get to the transformation and then you return. It's like, here I am on Holistics. It's like I'm offering some of my wisdom, but I never would have had all that. My dating woes and stuff if I didn't go through all the like mentors and the gaining allies and the enemies and stuff like that, I don't have that. I don't know, maybe I have enemies. I don't know if I do. Maybe they think I'm an enemy or something. I don't know. But you forgive. At this point, I don't really care. And that's like the best part. I don't have any bad feelings at all toward I'm just grateful for all of it. And even though some things didn't work out and you're very disappointed, but you get home, you return with the elixir. I actually used to have a pair of golden or not golden, red ruby slippers like that, and they were sparkly. I used to wear them on stage for Love Zombies. I think I still have them somewhere. So there you go, guys. I just thought, last night because I was talking about it and I didn't have the proper documentation to describe it. I don't know if that made that much sense. I hope maybe it did, but this is something you could go and look at yourself if you're interested. It's cool. A lot of movies follow this arc, like they said, like the Luke Skywalker and all that stuff. So, moving on to our next subject. I'm going to remove this. So I thought that was interesting. Like I said, that's a lot about we talk about those themes and things like that in my album. Okay, add me back to the stage and I want my background back. All right, guys. Wasn't Glenda the true villain? You know what? I don't know. Like that whole, is that like referring to Wicked and all that stuff afterwards? 'Cause I never watched Wicked. I never saw it. But there's more of a story. She would come in there with her little bubble in that room. I mean, I was younger. I mean, you can remember it, but to me, she was always like, "Oh, the good witch." So who knows? Who knows? I'm on Politics too. Yes. So with that said, we are 7:37. Means I've been talking nonstop for 37 minutes. Uh, Now, if you have been here, I see 9 eyeballs up there in the chat room there. Not in the chat room, in the eyeballs. If you're liking the show, if you're enjoying yourself, consider supporting the show by liking it, sharing it out, subscribing, smashing that thumbs up. And if you're feeling generous, you can do this. Are you enjoying the podcast? If you'd like to support what I'm building, you can buy me a coffee. Every bit of support helps me keep this podcast going and release my music independently. You can leave a one-time tip or become a member for a few dollars a month and unlock exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage you won't find anywhere else. Just visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis-Mahady or scan the code you see on the screen. For all those returning people in the chat room who already know all about this, I have to do it in case there's some new people out there. I encourage you, if you're enjoying the show and you want to know about more, I come on the air every night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and I have a website, hollismahady.com. It should be um should be somewhere. Well, this should say hollismahady.com. Let me just hide Ben's comment there real quick. There we go. There it is, hollismahady.com. And if you are interested, you could go over and sign up for my email list. It's the best way to stay connected in this digital age where we're like not connected. We're connected all the time, guys. I'm sure you'll find me again. But just in case you're like, who's that girl? Maybe I'll check her show out next week or something, because they're going to be getting better and better as we keep going and improving. That's what life's about, right? We're all about self-improvement here on Holistics. But you could download for free if you sign up for that email list. You will get a free PDF automatically of the Reconnection Movement if you want to check that out.
Download your free copy of the Reconnection Movement today. Just head over to my website, www.Hollis-tics.com. Go to the podcast sections, scroll to the bottom of the page, and enter your email to get your free copy instantly. Now more than ever, it's important that we reconnect and support real human creators and real people.
And just in case,
Holly's Playhouse is a raw, real, and emotionally charged docu-style miniseries following the turbulent journey of me, singer-songwriter Hollis Mahady, who left Scranton, Pennsylvania in 2010 to chase stardom in Hollywood. For nearly a decade, I fought to make my mark in the entertainment industry until 2019, when the world changed overnight. Told through a lens of humor, heartbreak, and hope, this is a deeply personal series that captures the highs and lows of a creative spirit navigating sudden change. If you want to check it out, head over to www.VOPUSARadio.com. Just go down to the Arts and Entertainment channel and you'll find it there for free to watch.
.com, that we are also broadcasting live on Roku TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV, and the apps. You can see I've said that quite many times. I could say it in my sleep. Just like, when you're a waitress, you have to remember the specials of the day and all that stuff. I used to have to say it all the time. We have potato salad, coleslaw, macaroni salad, fruit salad, potato chips. What would you like? But again, on the Rumble, everyone watching on Rumble, smash that thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you're on YouTube or wherever you may be seeing this. Tomorrow night, I will be here. Like I said, I'm here every night at 7 p.m. And tomorrow, I'm excited because we are doing, it's a new tradition here. Only done it one time. So tomorrow will be, how many times does it have to happen to become a tradition? I guess more than once. So a tradition or a new theme. Friday nights, we have TGIF Fridays. We're going back to the 80s on Friday nights. That's tomorrow night. This one's for the 80s or 70s or 60s. It's really for anyone. It's not, of course, I want everybody's welcome. I want everyone to tune in. But you might really, a little nostalgia there. We talk a lot about TGI Fridays and our favorite shows and some of the things of the 80s that we like. And the computer there, that's the old computer that I used to play on. That was my first computer. Excuse me. So that's that. And we will be here again tomorrow for that. So with that said, any comments in the chat room? How's everyone doing? Let me know what you're cooking. Let me know what you're cooking and what you're drinking tonight. Like I said, I just have a water tonight. MAGA Institute says, I grew up with Tasty Cakes. Now, I know MAGA Institute, you grew up in New York, if I'm correct, so you're near Syracuse. So I guess it's just an East Coast thing. Because I remember when my aunt and some people would visit from California, they would stock up on the Tasty Cakes. I know they don't have it out on the West Coast. So maybe it's just East Coast. Like maybe they have them in Ohio. I don't remember seeing them here. But I definitely in the convenient market in Scranton, they certainly had them. And it's funny because I was talking last week, or maybe it was last Friday when we were reminiscing about the 80s. I was talking about the video stores. And I couldn't remember the name of the video store. But guy from high school, Mark, commented on the video and he said Solid State Video. And I was like, yes, that's it. I didn't remember the name. So the video store, but we would go to the video store. And of course, I only lived across the street from the convenient. So you didn't have to cross the street, but it was really cool. We had a convenient market there, right across the street. And you would go there and we'd get the Tasty Cakes and the candies. Remember, guys, maybe I should save this for tomorrow, but back in the day when the candy bars were only like 50 cents. How much is a candy bar now? I went to Sheetz the other night, like a Snickers bar is like $3.59 or something. A pack of Skittles. I remember, this is Tom's fault. Tom's not watching. I think it might be a baseball practice. This is Tom's fault because he put out a post about how he eats Skittles and he separates the colors. He separates the greens, the reds, the purples, oranges, and the yellows. I don't like orange Skittles too much. So when I'm back on stage and I could request my rider, I say, I only want red Skittles. I'm just kidding. I don't eat Skittles that much. But after I saw his post, I said, Dan, when you're at Sheetz, can you grab me a bag of Skittles? I'm having a craving. I'm hankering from some Skittles. And I like the original flavor the best. Sour ones are pretty good too. But I don't know. It was like $5 for a bag of Skittles. I was like, better enjoy these Skittles. Back in the day. So that's the story there. But, trying not to eat too much candy. You got to take care of your teeth. Otherwise, you might need a deep cleaning. And I got one of those not that long ago, and it wasn't fun, right? Dental work is the worst, but that's another story for another day. For another day. And what was I going to talk? Oh, so the title of the show, I did mention in the title. I said from Skywalker, which we mentioned in the hero's journey. This is not about Star Trek or Star Wars. Um, but I said, because talking last night a lot about music, because we had Mark. Well, we didn't have Mark on the show. Well, we're going to have Mark on the show, but I was playing his video, and we were talking a lot about the music industry, and I mentioned the band Badfinger because I was going on and talking a lot about why I do what I do and why I'm starting Voice of Freedom Records, as I'm the first artist I'm putting out on it. And it's really, this is why, and it ties into the Badfinger story. And I said it as an example, and today I just looked it up because I do remember the story, but it's so tragic and it's sad. But that's why I do what I'm doing. And as I'm coming back and merging into the world again with my new tunes, um, as someone who has experienced the traditional music industry, and I had a record deal at one point. It wasn't a big record deal, but there's a lot. There's a lot there. But basically the story is very, very tragic, but it's also the reason why I'm doing it the way I'm doing. I very honest admitted I'm not trying to be a music star anymore. I mean, you're great. Of course you want people to hear your music and you want to make money from it. But it's different. It's different now. I was gonna say the stage that I'm at and why I'm doing it. But it's still, when you do put music out and people do buy it and you have merchandise, you're doing shows, you're dealing with money. Hopefully you'll make some money with it. But, when you're at a bigger level like that, people take advantage of you. And like I was saying last night, artists they just want to play. Most of them. Because if you're doing it the other way around, like I want to make all these AI tracks and make money from it. And I just go back to AI. But I'm here, I'm breaking into music because I want to be a star. I want to make a lot of money. There's a small chance. I mean, people do make it. Like you're hitting the lottery. Hey, you might, but you might be one of those few that you hear about that makes the millions. But it comes at a cost, right? Because like I said, most artists are just like, they really want to play. They just want to, they're doing it because they love being on stage or they want to sing or they have a gift to give. And a lot of us we're not business savvy, and you'll hear it. And now at this day and age, you kind of have to be. You hear about it. Music is a business. But if you want to do things yourself, you have to learn your own things, or you'll have a story like Badfinger. So maybe we'll talk about it. Now, does anyone, excuse me, does anyone know Badfinger? I know you know the music. If you probably know the song. No, Matt, I wish I could play it right now. But then again, if I play it, then I can't monetize the stream. I mean, or get whatever. It's taken down because of copyright. Because the other day I played some music and I got a copyright, not a strike, but they send it to you and they don't put it out as far because you're using other people's music. So I won't play it, but you guys probably know the song. They had a lot of really good songs. There's some of I love No Matter What. That's one of my favorite like oldie songs. When I hear it, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. No matter what you do, I will always be with you. And they sing day after day. I think that's one they sang. And anyway, I'll pull it up. Here's the problem. I'm going to pull it up if I can find it in my media assets. It's over here. Oh, no, I have to get rid of this. Dan told me what to do. I've just got to since we already talked about the hero's journey, we're moving on. Bigger and better things. No, there's nothing bigger and better than that. That's the journey of life. But here, I'm going to add it here. I'm going to present. I'm going to add an image here. And I pulled these up earlier to get me prepared for the show. And then I didn't realize it's really small. So I have to get my magnifying glass out to read it. But there it is. Here's Badfinger. And it's the tragic story of Badfinger. And this is page 1. It just says, the story of Badfinger is one of the most heartbreaking in music history, full of success, betrayal, and devastating loss. So their rise, they were one of the first bands that was signed to Apple Records, which was backed by members of the Beatles. So they had major hits like No Matter What, the one I was just saying, Day After Day, and Come and Get It. That was written by Paul McCartney. You know that song? If you want it, here it is, come and get it. But you better hurry because it's going fast. I don't know if that's the words, but I think they are. They were seen as the next big thing. I don't know how I'm reading this. It's really small. they had huge potential, real talent, industry support. And the manager and the money trouble. See, this is where it all starts. As I was saying before, most artists they really don't care, and if they're doing it for they don't care that much about money. And to the artist, it's heart and soul, but to a manager or a record label, they just see how can I make money off these people. I mean, that's what it is. That's why I would say there's business and there's soul. I mean, does it make the business people horrible people? I mean, this guy, yes, because he treated the artist really bad, and you'll see it. Does it make them bad people? No, and that's why I not necessarily. They see it. That's what business is, right? That's what advertising is. They want to make money from you. They want to make money from your product, your brand, whatever it is. It's when they exploit the artist and they don't pay them and they steal. That's why it's important to and why I'm doing my thing, and just you want to know what's going on, because unfortunately, if you don't, this is what could happen. But the manager and money trouble. Their manager was named Stan Polly. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Polly. It's where things took a dark turn. Polly controlled the band's finances. Despite millions in earnings, the band members often had little or no money. So you think these people are like super famous. You're thinking they're getting all this money. They're millionaires, but they're not. The artist isn't making the money. The manager was taking it. Now, this may not be in everybody's cases. There are good managers, and you're very, very lucky if you find a good manager, because it's very hard to do it alone. So if you find an honest manager who really helps you and wants you to succeed and actually gives you what you were owed. But despite millions in earnings, they had little to no money. Funds were allegedly um, mismanaged, or gosh, now it's really blurry. I can't see it. But contracts were complicated and restrictive, and the band members trusted him, but that trust turned into financial ruin. See, I mean, that's where it gets it's very hard. That's where it gets very hairy, because it's so hard. Hairy, I was saying, it's very hairy because it's so hard to do everything yourself. I mean, I'm not the greatest at math. Luckily, Dan's better at it. But like when you're doing things yourself or running a business, you have to get an accountant eventually. But you have to know what's going on, because this is the example. It's like, oh, I could just say, oh, I'm not good at math, but I do know what's going on. I need to know. And so the band trusted him. And unfortunately, that trust turned into financial ruin. The first tragedy. This is why this story is very tragic and very sad, because the first tragedy was Pete Haim, and he was the singer, the main singer. And in 1975, the lead singer and songwriter, and he was a songwriter. Now, songwriters, see, that's the thing. And again, a little music background. A lot of you guys probably maybe know this already, but the songwriter, the person who writes a song, is usually the one who's going to make the most money, because they're singers. Like I said, if you don't write your own songs and someone else writes the song, and they sell it to you or you sing it, they make all the money, because the royalties and all that stuff go to the songwriter. And then the person who just sings it, they might just get paid one time, or they might just get paid for their performances. But you'll hear that. Like, I think even, I don't know, there's a few bands that that's why bands, I think, break up, and that's always the issue they're fighting about. Well, this one wrote this, or what lyric did you write, or what's the song split? Is it 80-20? If we're in a band and really the writer is the singer, does the drummer get anything? Like, I think there's, different models, and successful bands, they split it all four ways. But that's where everyone ends up fighting. And I think you know, that's where a lot of the problems stem from, because, one person's writing all the songs. And that's also another thing where, if you can write the songs, you're usually have the head above everyone. You're in the best position, because if you want to fire your band, you can't fire the songwriter if they're the only one doing it. But if you're the writer, there's why a lot of people just go solo. Like for instance, I use his name a lot, but Billy Joel, I think he writes all his songs. So you never really know who the drummer is, or really, not saying you don't care, but I mean, that drummer could rotate. That could be someone else every week. I don't know. Maybe he had the same drummer. But my point is that, but then there's a band like, I don't know. I don't have an example. I don't know. Metallica, Dan would know this more. Just, I'm sure maybe one of them, maybe they all write the song. Or what's the Red Hot Chili Peppers? I'm just making that up. I really don't know. But then there's some where you can't lose the drummer. I mean, this is a band, and those are rare. I think those are harder to keep together. Like bands where they really, it's a whole, I don't know, U2? No, I don't think that's one. That Bono, he probably wrote everything. But you know what I'm saying. So in 1975, the lead singer, he was overwhelmed. He was broke. Broke. I mean, you're talking about these were like huge. They were working the bills and everything, but he was broke. I mean, despite success, his band was falling apart. Legal and financial stress was crushing him, and he died by suicide at age 27. In his note, he reportedly blamed his manager. It's cut off there. But I mean, he was only 27. You heard that story. We talked, the 27 Club. Now, people don't even put him in there because, a lot of people you think who died when they were 27, the Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, I think was 27. There's a whole club, Amy Winehouse. But you think of them because most of them were overdoses, or I think they were all overdoses, right? Janis Joplin was. Um, I don't know about Jimi Hendrix. I think so. Jim Morrison, they didn't commit suicide, as far as we know. The stories goes, but he's in the 27 Club. If that's accurate, and he died by suicide, age 27. And in his note, he reportedly blamed his manager. And then I will add the other one because this gets even worse. So add another image here, which is Badfinger 2. Hold on, guys. I'm so sorry. Board operator. Badfinger 1, Badfinger 3. Let me try this. I don't know if this is the right one. What was happening? Oh, wait. No, hold on. Sorry. Oh, are you guys enjoying the story? Are people watching here? It's okay. I haven't had a chance to go into the chat room, but I will do that. I will follow that up. But I have Badfinger 1. I do have another page here. And if not, I will just, oh, here comes my producer. He's coming to the rescue. I thought I saw it here. Badfinger 1. Add to this stage. Well, let me see if I could find it because it's just basically, I want to say exactly what it is. You guys bear with me. You understand I'm doing these things myself here. So let me get rid of that. Let me add that image file, and yeah, these are the things that happen sometimes. It's gone. Remember it was there? Let me just see real quick. This is part of the story. Okay, well, we don't like to have dead silence on the air. See, these are the things that get on my nerves. I have to be honest. 'Cause I had it prepared. It was here. But there it is. It's right here, Dan. I'm just going to read it. Here, I'll just read it. Okay. I don't know if you guys could see me. Dan? I don't know if you guys could see me. Because now I can't see me. And this is why you gotta laugh. You can't get upset. You can't get upset. Okay, you could still see me here. Okay, so I found it. So I'm just gonna read it. I can't put it up on the screen. I can't read it anyway. A magnifying glass. But the second I'm so sorry. It's worth the wait, I promise. Okay, so Badfinger, the second tragedy, Tom Evans. And nearly a decade later, so if it was only a decade later, I don't know how old Tom was, it'll say maybe. But nearly a decade later in 1983, bassist Tom Evans also died by suicide. He had ongoing disputes over royalties. Remember, I told you, like, that's what everyone fights about. Especially over With or Without You. Later made famous by Harry Nilsson and Mariah Carey. I think he wrote that song. I can't live if living is without you. Can't live it. How many songs was that covered? He wrote that song. I mean, that's a great song, right? So he wrote that. I mean, he should have been raking in the money, raking, especially as a songwriter. He should have been raking in. He should have been getting what he was owed. I mean, that song is still today. So that guy wrote that. And could you imagine? No money. He argued with the former bandmates Joey something over money just before his death. The long-term stress, unresolved financial issues, and trauma contributed to his state. So what happened to the manager? And it said also that, the first guy, he had like a baby on the way and he was worried he wasn't be able to support his kid because he didn't have any money. I mean, could you imagine this? I mean, like I said, listen, in the music, you can get screwed. You always get screwed by people. Like there's just people who just only they care about money. So they rip off people they don't care. But I mean, as long as you're getting, you should be getting something. But to be in one of the biggest bands in the world by the Beatles and Apple Music and everything, and you're having a kid and you're worried you can't pay for it, they give them pennies. But this is what a lot of people go through, and this is the part is like the dark part of music industry, and the part that the fans and viewers, if you're into the background and stuff, you don't even hear about a lot of this stuff. But people who were in it or been ripped off and stuff, they're interested in this. They were like, gosh, what happened to the manager? So what happened to this POS? Stan Polly was never criminally convicted, of course not, for what happened. However, he became widely viewed as responsible for the band's financial collapse. Lawsuits and disputes followed, but the damage had already been done. I mean, look at that. Two from the same band committed suicide. So they're in financial trauma, but I mean, and then other trauma. I mean, it's just betrayal, and like by the manager, the person that was supposed to be responsible for your career. I mean, they were good. Like he wrote that song that's still today. I mean, we listen to it all the time. How sad is that? And maybe you know this story, but every time I think about managers and record labels and things where you hear, because there's so many other stories. Dan was telling me other story today. I forget the guy's name, but maybe he'll talk about it on another episode or something. But this is the way it is. So when people are like, "Oh, the music industry, be careful of your contracts. When I say learn your contracts, know what's going on. It's why it's tricky because you can't learn everything. You can't do everything. You're not meant to be an accountant. You're not meant to be like I'm not meant to be behind a video editing like 24/7. You're meant to be doing your thing, but if you don't have an idea what's going on, this is what could happen. I mean, things have changed so much now. So there's like, and that's why my third page, it talks about tips of how to, moving in this kind of age or why this story still matters. But Badfinger story is often told as a warning about the dangers of blind trust and management, the darker side of the music industry, how success doesn't always equal security. Like you said, there's so many people who are like, oh, you think that they have a lot of money. Oh, you were in this band and they don't, because by the time they pay for people, they pay for the show, like especially people who have props and like big shows, they have to pay this one. And then you get an advance from the record label and you have to pay them back. And by the end, it's just like, it's kind of like right when you sell your house, God willing, if we ever sell the damn thing, by the time you have to give the realtor this, you have to pay the last of this, you have to pay, okay, and then you got to pay up the rest of what you owe, and the more, and it's like, okay, I have like $5 left. It's like that's how it is, and so how success doesn't always equal security, and the importance of mental health and financial control, because like you said, when you're younger, you don't really care that much about money. You're just like, oh, we're just going to have a good time. But then you're older and you're like, well, I spent the last year doing 20 years doing music. Maybe I can't do it anymore. Or, my leg hurts. I can't go on stage the way I used to. But now you don't have any money left because because the manager took it all. It's just like, so there's a lot. There's a lot, and there's a reason. Like I said, why I brought it up. If you want, okay, so I asked ChatGPT. ChatGPT is my AI choice that I do use quite often, but I'm always talking to them. And he says, even though Badfinger had hit songs, play, and major industry backing, the band members did not see the money earned. What was happening? Their manager controlled their finances. Millions of dollars were tied up, missing. Like I said, it's budgeting. Some of the money really could be just being used. Like if you have a huge elaborate show and you're playing props and you have to pay everybody, there might not be that much left at the end. But this says missing money. So like he was stealing their money. I hate that. It gets me so mad. The band members often lived on small allowances instead of real income, and royalties were delayed, disputed or never paid. Yep. And then there you go. There you have it. It's messed up. So on a positive, how we learn and grow from these stories, these poor people, like they were, as I say, like they were gifts. That even that song. Maybe it's not your favorite song. Maybe it's not. Maybe you love it. I love it. I love Badfinger. I love some of their songs, and they gave us a gift because every time I hear "No matter what," it just like my mom would sing it. I just love it. Baby Blue Eyes. I think they sang that. I mean, these are gifts to us, and to imagine. That's why I advocate, for artists and like even on my own record label, like I said, Voice of Freedom Records. Do I know how to do it? Do I really have time? Do I have help? No, but I'm just like, I'm going to figure it out because at the very least, I at least have some control over my career, or because I just don't want to deal with that, but and then on the other hand, it's hard because you do need help. I wish sometimes I do want a record label because they have all the distribution and all that, but then you have to deal with all this. So it's like, whatever. Rome wasn't built in a day. You have to just go and be in charge of your career, at least know what's going on. You got to know what's going on. And let me just add one to the stage. The last thing here. Oh, here. Let's remove that. And one thing I want to say, because we want to learn and grow, protect yourselves. Here we go. Open. Why is this still important and everything? Let me see if I can put this on the stage. It's so small. Hold on, if I could be able to read it here. Let me, if I have it. Can anyone see what that says? Probably not. Can anyone read that? I don't think I can. How artists protect themselves today. It is so small. Let me see if I could, if it's on the desktop here. Here, let's do a little commercial. I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to say how we can protect ourselves today. I mean, I think it's, don't know. Let's see. We got Aaron in the chat room. Just checking the chat room real quick. I recently learned of the weirdest band I've ever heard. Angie de Putin, not melodic, is referred to as microtonal math rock. It's unsettling, but interesting somehow. Wow, that's a new genre I'd never heard of, math rock. You have to send me her name so I can look that up. That's interesting. So let's do a little commercial here. I'm going to see if I could find that and open it up so I could read it. Okay. Let's go to at the top of the hour. Are we at the top of the hour? Yes, we are almost at the top of the hour here. It's Hollis-tics. If you were just tuning in, my name's Hollis Mahady, and I'm here every night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's do a little top of the hour. And this show is supported and sponsored by no one yet. But we are co-creating with God, and we're going to get a sponsor and an advertiser so I can hire a board op. So when I pull up a thing, I don't need a magnifying glass because I'm an independent artist and I do everything alone. And I don't want to do everything alone. It's much more fun when there's other people and you have help. But as I said before, sometimes if you don't just start, do it yourself, it'll never get done and no one will see you and know that you need help. I need some help here. I need a board operator. So here you go. How you can support the show and make it go flow even better if you're interested is this way.
Are you enjoying the podcast? If you'd like to support what I'm building, you can buy me a coffee. Every bit of support helps me keep this podcast going and release my music independently. You can leave a one-time tip or become a member for a few dollars a month and unlock exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage you won't find anywhere else. Just visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady or scan the code you see on the screen.
And another way.
Hi guys, I'm Hollis and I'm here to bring your creative vision to life. Whether it's designing your video thumbnails or editing your content or recording voiceovers for commercials, I've got you covered. I'm part of the in-house production team at Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network, and over the last 6 years, I taught myself everything from production to post-editing and beyond. I know exactly what it feels like to be stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure where to even begin. And that's exactly why I now offer these services to other people as well. So if you have a project you're working on, you can hit the link below where you can see examples of my work, from commercials I've produced to voiceovers and more. And if you like what you see and think I can help with what you're looking for, feel free to reach out. We can create something awesome together. Are you liking the music in the show? The music you hear in my videos and during the show is licensed through Epidemic Sound, an amazing platform for creators. If you make videos, podcasts, or content of your own, head over to hollismahady.com, go to the podcast page, and sign up for a free trial using my link. And if you're just a listener looking for new music, you'll also find my playlist of favorite songs I use in this show. Signing up through my link supports the show and the musicians too. Need some new tunes to listen to? Why not try the Hollis Mahady Music Collection? As I move towards the new, I'm closing an old chapter with gratitude. To celebrate the new music on the horizon, I've gathered my complete past collection and made it available all in one place. The collection includes 2 full albums with my previous band, Love Zombies, Passion Fruit, and No Slow songs recorded live at Abbey Road Studios, the Be Honest EP with Love Zombies, Hollis original songs, Hollis cover songs, a bonus Christmas album. And this collection represents the journey that brought me here today and the doorway into what's next. To purchase the music collection, head over to hollismahady.com and go to the store. All funds raised go directly towards promoting and advertising my new album on my own label, Voice of Freedom Records. Thanks so much for supporting independent music.
What choice do you have other than to fight and let go of these roots? Now hold you so tight, you claw your way up, back on solid ground, then the darkness comes to kick you back down.
And there you go. And that's why that song that I just played, it says Voice of Freedom Records. That's a little background of why I'm very passionate about what I do. And I talk about my own music a lot. And like I say, it's not just about me. It's not. I hate it. It's this thing. I hate to see people with such talent like Badfinger, and they're just the example we're talking about. There's many more who have just such a gift, and they have songs, and they have all this, and then they're left in the cold. And even to go to those lengths, look at how it really could destroy your life. I mean, both of them, So that's why I created this and the music channel on Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network, where you can see my channel. It's up there. And this is broadcasting live right now. This is why I spent the last year, not just for myself, because I know there are other people out there like me. I know a few of them. I wish they would, join forces with me, because I can't do it all alone. I'm fighting for other people who've had this happen to them. And sometimes, people don't really catch on until all the work's done. And it's like, oh, okay, but I could use some help. So if there's anyone out there who has a similar story and it has just, they don't want to be part of that. They don't want to be they don't want to be trying again, trying to go to Hollywood and do all that and deal with this. We got to create something new outside of it. And that's what Voice of Freedom Records is. And so I'm going to play that commercial. Here we go. This is why. And this is the type of people I'm looking for to be on this label with me.
The music channel on Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network. This channel exists to spark a revolution, to shine a light on the undiscovered talent and hidden gems of a new era in music. Built on a foundation of truth, freedom, and fearless exploration, our network gives a voice to artists without compromise, manipulation, or censorship. This is the home of Voice of Freedom Records, where we protect and nurture the hearts, dreams, and visions of our artists with unwavering integrity. Born out of a deep need for something real, we are the alternative. A platform where true musicians and creators are celebrated without strings, without gimmicks, and without selling out. In a world oversaturated with noise, manufactured fame, and artificial voices, we choose quality over quantity. We stand for the real. Real music, real stories, real souls. Not robots, not algorithms, not empty trends. Here, music is sacred. Here, every true voice matters. And here, freedom sings.
Submit an application today. You can do that. And we have an artist program because I have a soft spot for artists. As you know, I talk about it a lot. This is not free. It's very expensive to run. We have every video and everything we upload. It costs us a lot of money. It costs me. This is what I invest a lot of my money into, and I have, because I care. And it's something I think it's very important. And there is an option out there. There's an alternative. There's a true alternative being built by someone who's been through it, who's lived through it, who was in the music industry, who saw it, who experienced it, not at a huge level like them, but just on my own little story and my own experiences. I see what people go through, and I don't think it's right. And I think, as I said last night, the example of that one woman I was talking about, who I don't know if she sings anymore, and she should sing, and she should come on the label, and we should do it together. You're sick of it. Have it be run by girls who with the similar stories, who've been fighting to keep singing their songs. Don't ever give up. join forces, create what doesn't exist, create it and say, you know what, take a stand. No, let's do it a different way. I needed some help. And of course we need money, but things, it's organic. So I was fed up with the screen sharing. It's a pain in the butt. So what I did instead was pull it up on my little helper here, ChatGPT. So that's what I was saying. There are good things now. I talk a lot about some of the cons of AI, but there are good things about it. And there's great things about the internet. We say this all the time. I can put it out myself now. And it says here, the biggest difference now from today, from then in the 70s, because Badfinger was the 70s, artists have tools, transparency, and independence that didn't exist then. So when you hear independent artists, this is what we mean. But people might not be familiar. What do you mean independent artists? What is that exactly? It means we're not backed by the machine. We don't have a big record label. We don't have all the funds. And I say like a broken record, broken record. That's why it's important. If you find someone you like, I'm not saying me, but if you find someone you do like and you can buy their merchandise, or you instead of downloading their song for free, pay for it. If you can help, just goes such a long way. And a lot of people do that. The fans in the UK, they supported. They were some of the best fans ever. They did. They cared and they supported. Some in the US too as well. But so these are some tips in case there are any artists out there watching. And again, feel free, get in contact with me. I'm Hollis. That's why I'm doing this show. I'm hoping to find some people, so I'm just don't have to just do this all myself. Hollis.com. My email's up there. You can email me, send me your music, all that stuff. We, become friends and we could make change, but you can't just make change by talking about it and hoping and going back and doing what is it? The definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. If you see a problem, if you can't stand something that's going on, create something out of it. And it's not easy, but good things don't come easy sometimes. I wish they came a little easier, but things are worth fighting for. That's why I do what I do. So, number 1, never let one person control everything. Badfinger trusted one manager, Stan Polly, with full financial control, and that was the fatal flaw. Today, you separate roles. Manager could be your career strategy, a lawyer for contracts, an accountant, money oversight. But at the same time, like I said, at least you should have an idea of what's going on with your money. Like I said, you need an accountant. You can't do it all yourself. That's why you have professional accountants and lawyers. No single person should ever have total control. Number 2, track your own money always. That's what I'm saying. You can log into platforms and see, like you could check your streams, royalties, payments in real time. Total tools artists use just shows that. If you can't see your money, excuse me. If you can't see your money, you don't control your career. You got to know where it's going, right? Or what it's being used for. Or it's usually just going out. I don't know. And you got to see some coming in. Number 3, own your masters or understand the deal. That's a big one, right? Because you hear a lot about this stuff, like people in their music catalogs and Michael Jackson. And I'm just using an example, but for instance, I own my masters now. Because I wrote all the songs. I'm proud of it. And it took me so long. And that's why even on this album, I had 1 or 2 songs I was considering, but they involved other people. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with, maybe on another album. I'm not saying I'll never collaborate with anyone again. I would like to, the right people. And we share. And I have no problem at all sharing songwriter royalties. If we wrote it together, we share it. But I said for this one, I want to own it. And that's why I paid for it. No record label paid for it. Because that's another thing. If they pay for it, they might own it. So because I paid for it out of my own pocket and I wrote everything, every instrument and everything, I own it. So I do own the masters. So that's a good thing. But own your masters. Badfinger didn't have control over the recordings or money flow. So today, independent artists often keep 100% ownership. They license music instead of signing it away. And number 4, always have a music lawyer. This is a non-negotiable now. A good lawyer will translate contracts into plain English because that's why lawyers make a ton of money, because they understand the 20 page of make sure you read the tiny writing before you sign anything, not just in music, anything, a lease, a house, read that writing. This is wisdom here from Hollis-tics. Trust me, I've signed bad contracts before. A good lawyer will translate. Yep. If Badfinger had a stronger legal protection early on, their story might have been very different. Number 5, don't confuse success with cash flow. This is a huge trap even today. Millions of streams doesn't equal money in your bank. It's true. Just like this. Views, millions of views, or you look, oh, I hope I get the views. Sometimes it doesn't always translate into any money. You could get a lot of views and it doesn't matter. Hit songs don't equal financial security. Now, if you didn't write them or if you don't own them, but you need multiple income streams like sync, merch, live, and content, and you need financial planning. So, number 6, keep control of your accounts and access. Sounds simple, but it matters. You should own your email lists. You should own social media, distribution accounts, banking access. Never let someone else be the gatekeepers to your career. You'll hear that term a lot, gatekeepers. You got to know what's going on, or otherwise, this kind of stuff could happen. Number 7, build your own ecosystem, your lane. This is where what you're doing is actually ahead of the curve. Oh, he's talking to me personally, because I have my show and all that stuff. So there you go. The real lessons from Badfinger is it's not just about money. It's about control, transparency, and self-trust. That's another thing too, right? Even said it earlier. Sometimes I wish I had a label, but it's about self-trust. And I don't know if that's what it meant though. Self-trust, but self-belief. It's like, it's a longer, harder route. Sometimes you're like, oh, but at the end of the day, at least you have yourself to rely on and you could only blame yourself, They had talent, they had the hits, and they had the opportunity, but not the structure to protect themselves. That's the saddest thing. So anyway, did you guys enjoy that? I'm gonna head over to the chat room. I see a couple of comments there. I don't know if you're into liking the music history here, but I guess this is, I just think it's important. And because I talk about music all the time. The links, let's see. Aaron says, they'll hear. Aaron says the link follows my comment, but I'm kind of disappointed to introduce this to you. The comments are so strange, and well, that's okay. I mean, it's not like you did it, but it's like you say, you're always learning. It's always interesting to see something new. What happened to the chat? I don't know, Aaron. I'm here. Where is everyone? AI can't emulate it currently because it is so original. Oh, of this math rock. Yeah, where is everybody? Hit me up in the chat room, guys. But, I talk a lot. We're at 8:22 already. And unfortunately tonight, not unfortunately, because we have another show coming up on Voice of the People USA Radio Network. We have Politishaw coming on at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays, every night of Thursday. And we're having Timothy Shea on as a guest as well. So because we share one computer, he'll be coming in here shortly. And I will be ending the show pretty early tonight. I guess, when I first started this, I was like, oh, an hour. And now I'm like, oh, it's only going to be 2 hours, 3 hours. I found out I could talk. And so we will be ending the show fairly soon. I hate to say goodbye, but don't fret because tomorrow I'll be back and it will just be like boom, because time is like, here it is. Where's my hourglass? Oh, I had it, but I have my little hourglass. It's like the clock is ticking. It goes fast. Oh, you know what? Before we end the show, let's get into the comment of the day because I forgot to talk about it. So, and it's not a mean comment. It's not more of a comment. It's just more of a, well, I guess it's a comment, but it's more of a suggestion. There you go. So let's get the comment of the day up here. Hold on one second. The comment of the day. All right, let's pull it up here. The comment of the day comes from, hold on. Okay, so the comment of the day comes from Jonathan, and Jonathan he commented on one of my videos last night. It was about music. And he said, I think reaching out to other artists that went through similar situations or even just general artisan comes up in an interview or conversational situation would be an interesting concept for this channel. I'd watch it. I love listening to other people's musical journeys. And that's awesome because that's exactly what I hope it evolves to as we get guests on the show. I said, I'm only on the second week now, and it's kind of the first week was just like, oh, what tech thing is going to go wrong? We still have our issues, but we're getting better. So as I said, like that's the whole point. I would love to have especially artists and musicians to come on. We're going to get Mark on for sure. And even Jonathan, you're welcome on the show as well. It's for everybody. I know he's a great guitar player, and I knew him in high school, and he was in bands. He said in the hardcore, DIY, and he understands the struggle, man. The struggle is real. The DIY. And so absolutely great suggestion. And I'm on it. I said, I have a couple people. I have an author who's going to be coming on. She wrote a book. Very proud of her. And I have my book. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going away and I'll be have some time in the car and I might read it sooner, but I'm very excited. It's right here. It's right next to me. And I have a bunch of ideas of guests, and that's the great thing about this show. It's not confined, caged into one thing. As we talk a lot about music, it's kind of just part of the show. But I'm also totally into all different things, like you know, um, well, music, but holistic health, obviously. We talk about that. Like I said, we should get, spiritual people on here. I was talking about 1111 because it's my 11th episode, the angel card readers. And I don't know, just a variety of people who want to come in. Voice of the People, which we are on, Voice of the People USA Radio. It's real stories by real people. I mean, keeping it real here. That's the whole people. What's your tagline? What's your brand? What are you about? Well, it's real stories for real people. It's a lot of the stories that you have never heard because a lot of real people are just like, they're real. They don't know how to break through the noise. And maybe their story was never told, because they didn't crack the code or they didn't know how to promote their posts for everyone to see it. So it's real people coming in and having stories and meeting people and chatting in the chat room and connecting people. I say that real humans, real music, real solutions, real alternatives. I say we're the alternative for the people's people, the people like us. There's like a lot of times in life, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm just doing great, and I have all the money flowing in," but there's a lot of people who are not, and so but it's great, good if you are, but a lot of times I think we have to like hide and say, "Oh, like people are fake." They always have to be like, "Oh yeah, everything's just great." And it's like, no, it's not like we want to talk about, "Oh, well, everything's so bad." But you could be real. There's not enough real people. It's like, it's just you want to be like, are you having a problem breaking through this YouTube? Oh no, I'm thriving. I'm thriving. Look, check out my course. Come and take my course because I know the key. It's like, do you real so it's just real people, real stories, real voices. Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network. And if you are interested in joining, head over to that website, join network, and apply. As I said earlier, I have a soft spot for artists. And if you can't, we're charging a little, come on the platform. This costs us a fortune. Everything does. But I'm also willing to trade. We have a great big platform out there. It's on Roku TV, it's on Fire TV, but we need help. So we need help advertising. And, I'm always willing to trade. If someone's going to say, "Hey, Hollis, you know what? Maybe I could help you with that one social media account. I'll come and produce the show. I could pop in and help you. Great. Then I can help. I'm happy to put your music on the network because it costs us money to do it. But I don't have to pay you for that. So come on here and I'll pay. We'll work together. I'm all about helping each other. And I wish more people would take me up on the offer. I need help. Do you want anyone want to help? Because street team or getting involved with Voice of Freedom Records, and getting it out there. Because, when you're trying to make a movement, it's not about me. I say it all the time. My music and everything, sure, I'm at the core of it. I mean, I have all these ideas, but it takes people and it takes resources. And unfortunately, it takes money to make it happen. So with that said, guys, go over to hollismahady.com and join the mailing list. You'll keep you abreast on everything that's happening and all the great episodes to come and all the guests that we are going to be having. I'm not sure when or who my first guest will be, but it will be very soon. I think it may be my author here. I want to talk to her. I can't wait to talk to her about the book, and I'm going to read it. And hopefully Mark is going to be coming on soon, and lots of other people. I just have to reach out to them. In fairness, I haven't asked anybody to be a guest on it yet. But if you're interested in being a guest, you can also email me here on Voice of the People USA Radio. It says if you are interested in being a guest on one of the shows, get in touch. Send me an email. Send me what you're doing, what you want to talk about. I like to have people, like I said, ordinary stories, but also people who are doing things with mission aligned things. I think, I'm always here to promote someone's business or talking about AI and stuff like that. That's a good one. There's no rules. And that's the greatest thing. So here, don't forget, guys, tomorrow night we have Friday, March 27th, which is tomorrow already. I can't believe it. This one's for the 80s babies, and we have the throwback 80s babies nostalgia of TGIF throwback. We talk about things like Balky Bartokomous and Steve Urkel, or Stefan Urkel. No, I messed it up. Steve Urkel and Stefan Urkel. You know who that is. And we have a song we're going to play for all those out there who wants to go back to the good times when life was just a little simpler, not this technology. And drop a comment in the chat room if Timothy, if you're still in there. What's the name of that robot that was at the White House? He comes walking out. I want to talk about that as well, about Elon Musk and stuff, because that's what the first episode was all about, like seeing all these things from Elon Musk. But apparently, this thing is going to be able to provide. We have to talk about this. Providing medical care, and he's saying like in the future we won't have to work, and it will eliminate poverty and stuff. I want to dig into that, not tonight, but I think that's important. I mean, that sounds pretty good, right? No more poverty. That would be right. And no more, it's going to help you with your health and these robots. I don't know enough about it, but I remember seeing the name, and I don't remember what it was. It was like opius. No, I don't think that's it. Something like that. It was like maybe something we don't know. What happened to the chat? Aaron says, I will wear cologne next time I join the chat. It's funny you say that, because as I get ready for the show, I mean, I get ready for the show, you're putting perfume on, and I'm like thinking, oh yeah, like, I mean, you know what? You want to smell good anyway, but you're like getting ready, and you're like, oh, no one's really actually here. They're going to smell your perfume, but it's okay. Yeah. Cologne and perfume are nice. It's nice to smell good. Ah. Joe says, great job, Hollis. Just as MAGA needs to take control of the country, artists need to take control of their music. That's the thing. I think it's always good to be in control of your music. And that's what I talk about. I'm still figuring it all out. But I guess the most important, and I talk about it a lot, but why it took so long to do this and why I'm proud of it is because I did write all the songs. And that was the hardest thing for me, like writing all the songs and thinking they were good enough to record and all that, because that was always like, I want to own my own songs because I don't want to deal with any of these people. They're just a pain in the buttocks. Okay. So we did the comment of the day. I think I'm going to start to wrap things up tonight. It's an early night because we got other fish to fry, guys. But don't feel sad. If you can watch on repeat. You can binge watch all Hollis-tics episodes if you're interested. They're on my website, hollismahady.com. And if you're enjoying the show, if you're one of those 9 eyeballs up there who has been here the whole time, consider donating to the show. Remember, tips support the show, and it's just a one-time thing. You could go and give me $5 if you think I earned it or not. If you can't, I understand, but you can share out the show if you can't do that. I get it. We have bills to pay, and sometimes you just can't. So it's no big deal. I'm never here to be like, come on, you can donate already, like you've been watching. No, it's just if you can, I appreciate it. It really helps. And if you can't, at the very least, please share out the show. Like it at the very least. Give a thumbs up. I mean, it's like pulling teeth trying to get people to do anything. I'll be honest. Like no one wants to. They consume. They don't want to help. That would help. Share it out. Retweet it if you like it. Share it to someone. Subscribe. Drop a comment that's nice, because sometimes, or mean, I guess, it doesn't have to be nice, but it helps the engagement and all this BS that we have to play in order to get it on there, because these things, it does cost money to stream. It costs a lot of money to have this microphone and to do all this stuff and time. So I really would appreciate it. Scan that QR code. And if you're interested, you can become a member on buymeacoffee.com, because we're hitting goals. And again, big thank you to Maga Dirt Biker. Thank you for that coffee today. I always appreciate you so much. And I have your package. I haven't sent it out yet, but I have it's all ready. So we're going to get to the mailbox, because you were the winner and you deserve it very much. And you all do. So thank you so much again to everybody for being involved. And a big shout out to Smariglio. Smarigs, I know you're watching. Say hi to my babies, Ruby and Pearl and Jake. Love and miss them, and love you very much. Always thank you for your support. Always. Love all you guys. Thank you for being here tonight. And I like to end the show one more time saying, you know what? I'm Hollis Mahady. This is Hollis-tics. If you happen to stumble upon this, and I just want you to know, and I mean this truly, hope you're having a good day. But if you're not, and you're struggling and you're alone, you're never alone. Come into the chat room if you can, if you want to. keep going if you're struggling, if things are hard, or you want to give up, or you might be someone like me who's a creative, like, oh, is ever going to make money? How, should I just give up? Should I get the normal job? Don't take it too much of maybe financial advice from me, but I will say, keep going. Never give up on your dream. Never give up on your heart. You're not alone. You're not alone. There's people out here like me who are here to remind you of that. And I feel that's part of my purpose and why I said I'm going to stay consistent and come here because I want to talk to those people because I know what I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be alone. I know what it feels like sometimes to want to give up. But I'm here to tell you don't give up. The world needs you. The world needs your gifts. And you have a gift, even if you might not know what it is yet. Guarantee you have one because everybody does. Sometimes we just have to discover it, nurture it, talk about it. So with that said, I'll give everybody here in the show one last round of applause because I just like to do that. That's for you. That's for you. And you've been listening to, I hope you've been able to get out of the 3D world for a little bit, out of the matrix. We got to go back to it sometimes. Dip back to the 3D world, I like to say. But in the meantime, here it's all about the magical, mystical. Tor is waiting, mystical, magical, the stuff that, life's really about. Soul. Okay, so enough of that. So everybody, I love you so much. We're going to end the show with the song that we always do. Because we're at 8:36 now. We're getting ready. Make sure you check out VOPUSAradio.com. And again, don't forget HollisMahady.com. Smash the like, smash that subscribe. And I'm happy to have a coffee if you'd like to buy me a coffee. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow night for TGI Fridays, Nostalgia Night here on Hollis-tics. Hope you can make it. Share the show. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. And I will see you all tomorrow, Friday night, for Hollis-tics. You've been listening to Hollis-tics, and this is Hollis Mahady signing off tonight. Love you all.
Thank you for watching Hollis-tics, hosted by me, Hollis Mahady. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady. You can make a one-time donation or become a member for just a few dollars a month to get extra podcasts and exclusive behind-the-scenes content you won't find anywhere else. Or simply scan the code on the screen. Your support truly means the world to me and helps me continue creating independent content for you. If you like the music featured in this show, I license it through Epidemic Sound. You can head over to HollisMahady.com, click on the podcast page, and use my link for a free trial. And don't forget to check out VOPUSAradio.com, where I host my music channel and am building a growing community of independent musicians. If you're interested in joining the network, just click Join Network and submit an application. Until next time, remember that you are loved and never alone. From human to human, big hugs. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the outro video. I love this song.
Lights shining from the window late at night. I'm just watching someone else's life go by, wishing it was mine. Dreams, everybody has them at the start. Somewhere along the way they fall apart, and it makes it kind of hard to look up at the lights. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I can finally see what it's all about. lights go out, everything is clear. When the lights go out, I could finally see. When the lights